Hi, my name's Johnny and today
we are taking a look at the Schecter Hellcat Bass VI.
Hit like on this video and subscribe for even more videos coming your way very soon. We've got weekly content and daily stuff coming out on Instagram as well, so go and follow me on there. This is my first ever experience with a Bass 6. But is it a good one? It's essentially a 6-string guitar, but with an extended range, a bit like a baritone, but the strings are extra thick so that you can tune an octave lower than a guitar. So for the guitar players out there, this will be in more your kind of realm in terms of playability. What can you use a Bass 6 for? In this video, I thought I would do less talking, because you don't want to hear me voice, you want to hear that bass up there. So that I'd be able to demonstrate all the different uses for this bass. Like the Cure, the Beatles who use them later in the game. Blink-182 have been known to use one before. So if you know the Hellcat and other Bass 6s, this one actually has 3 mini humbuckers. I think they're Duncan design. They are, let me get it up a minute. They are Duncan MH102 oil tappable mini humbuckers with a 5-way selector switch. You don't really have any combination there compared to like the 3 single coils that you would get on the Squier Classic Vibe Bass 6. I was actually on the lookout for the Classic Vibe instead of this, but this just popped up in my search and I was like, I have got to have that. Diamond series, it's like mid-2000s, spot on. This bass actually retails new for about £1,000. And remember, the audience commented a really handy guide to buying a Bass 6, you know, in terms of price range. You can start with the Harley Benton, then it goes up to the Squier, then the Schecter, and then the full fat Fender. Quite a diverse price range for these guitars. So the question is, do you play it through a guitar amp? Do you play it with a bass amp? I'm going to show you a mix between how you might be able to use this, because there's no written rule on how you should use these, which I think makes these things really exciting and inspiring. Personally, when I was playing them, I wanted to do lots of kind of sad boy pop punk shoegazy stuff with weird time signatures and lots of obviously long open breakdowns. It just really suits that sound, especially with a heavy distortion on there. And whether you're using it as a bass or a guitar, could you not use guitars? Double track it, pan it left and right and have that as the guitars with a bass underneath, or with no bass underneath, or with guitars on top, a bass and a bass 6 in there, or just the guitars and the bass 6. You know, there are so many combinations that you could have. And that kind of begs the question is, can it really replace a bass guitar? Let's have a listen to lots of different combinations now and let me know in the comments what you think. quite a lot to unpack. I'll start by giving my initial thoughts on the overall build quality. It's Schecter. It's fantastic. It feels like it's built like a tank, but you don't get any neck dive despite the extended headstock, which I think actually looks really cool. Aesthetically, I think this looks a lot better than the newer ones with the single coil looking pickups in there. Initially, I thought they were single coils, but I believe that they're humbuckers as well, because you've actually got like a Jaguar style flicking switches on the new one, as well as the 5-way selector. It means that you can coil tap whatever out of those that you want. You can have one humbucker, one coil tap. I keep saying coil tap, but do I mean split coil? I can't remember. I often get those two mixed up. I know they're slightly different. Correct me in the comments down below. Not as a criticism, but just as education, to remind me which is the right one. We're all friends here. So yeah, with the more modern ones, there is a little bit more flexibility, I'd say, but in terms of the quality of these and these humbuckers. So going back to the overall sound, there are loads of tones in here, and I think it sounded good. I like the way that it sat in the mix. Personally, I prefer to use this as like a guitar, and not so much taking the role of the bass. A bit of a mix, which I suppose isn't really helpful, but that's how I really enjoyed playing this guitar. That being said, I don't think it handles chords very well. On the higher strings, chords sound fine, nice and thick and big. Certainly can't do power chords or anything on the lower two strings. The notes individually sound themselves, but it's a bit messy sounding. I haven't really done that much of a setup on this because I think it plays fine. Certainly if you're wanting to do it, bring each individual saddles back and forth, but overall the bridge you just level like that, which I don't think is ideal. But if you want to adjust the saddles, they're like underneath the strings. So either you need like some kind of bendy screwdriver or something really small to get in there, or you've got to do it with the strings off and just put them on. And that's just useless. So it's a bit fiddly to get in there. So not ideal if you're wanting to really get that set up right. It doesn't play like a guitar. It doesn't play like a bass. It does take a bit of getting used to. I'm still not there yet. I feel like my playing's quite messy on it. I'm not a great guitar player. String spacing is quite small because the strings are so thick that playing fingerstyle is quite difficult. I haven't done any slapping stuff on here because I just think if you're buying this, you're not going to be slapping right. Let me know if you are, but personally I don't think it would have a good slap tone, and getting your fingers underneath to do pops and stuff is just a no-go. It's just not built for that kind of thing. So yeah, I think if you're going to get one of these, you've got to want to have a different use for it. I don't think it's a replacement for a bass. I don't think it's necessarily a replacement for guitar. This kind of sits in the middle and does a bit of both. I think you've just really got to have a demand or want to experiment a bit more. I think it's great for that. Overall, a really cool, well-made bass that sounds really cool and inspires me to play in a different way. And I've been in a bit of a writer's block recently in terms of songs. I picked that up to record some stuff for this demo. I was already writing several new ideas, and just from that one guitar. That's what I look for in a guitar, something that inspires me, makes me want to pick it up and play, and I certainly get that with this guitar. But that's just my 2 cents anyway. We're not going to do an outro to this video because I've already done lots of kind of like mixed stuff in the middle, so we're just going to end it right here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.